Here we go.
Now, more Out of the Box on Q1043.
And welcome back. Jonathan Clarke joined live on the phone by a guy whose songs and records I've listened to forever, the great keyboardist, Churchill from 10 Years After. Welcome, man.
Good evening, Jonathan.
And, of course, we play I'd Love to Change the World, and I'm Going Home here on the station. And really my own fault for not really knowing that Alvin Lee, unfortunately, has not been in the band for quite some time. And 10 Years After has gone on without Alvin. But if you don't mind, just for a couple seconds, fill us in if you can, and tell us why Alvin's not in the band anymore.
Well, we worked till about February 2000, and we sort of broke up, and then Rick the drummer got a live album together, live at the Fillmore 1972.
Yeah, those tapes were lost or something for a while?
Yeah, that's right, and we found them, and, we were getting them together, and we suddenly thought, well, let's do it, let's get it back together again and do it. So he phoned Alvin up, and Alvin said, no, I don't really want to do it anymore. So I phoned him up. I actually lived near him at the time in Spain, so I actually asked him about it, and he said no, he didn't really want to work anymore, and we suddenly decided, but we do.
Right.
We actually enjoy working, and it was a big gamble, but we've done it. I mean, we really are enjoying it, and we're going down great and attracting big audiences.
Well, that's great, and I don't know if you remember this, but you did a show, and I have to say it was the only time I ever saw 10 Years After. It was with, I think it was the early 70s, Rod Stewart.
I remember it, yes.
Roosevelt Stadium in Jersey City.
New Jersey, yes. I do remember it, yes.
A stadium that is no longer there now, but that was an unbelievable show, man. Summer night, I guess, right?
I remember that. Mick Jagger was there, in fact, backstage.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember it. It was a good gig, and, we were pals with Rod and the Faces, and it was just one of those nights, We just really enjoyed it.
Well, 10 Years After is coming to BB King's this coming Wednesday night. I have a pair of tickets for the first three callers on the toll-free listener line at 888-872-1043, and a copy of the band's latest CD called Now, so good luck with that. Chick, a question. You've answered this countless times, no doubt, over the years, that now that it is 40 years after the band formed back in 1967, man, does the time fly, right?
Yeah.
The band was formed in 1967, and I never knew this. Where did you get the name from?
We had a manager at the time called Chris Wright, and he said he wanted some names, so we all wrote a load of names down, took it from headlines and newspapers, and somebody wrote down 10 Years After, and he picked that name. We've since found out it was 10 years after the Suez Crisis. I don't know whether you know about the Suez Crisis, when Colonel Nasser decided he would nationalise the Suez Canal, and Britain went in there with the troops. And this article is about 10 years after Suez.
Ah.
So
there we go.
It was just three words somebody picked out that the manager picked out.
Well, I remember this one album that I played to death, and I don't have it on CD, and I'm sure it's probably available on iTunes, but absolutely one of my favorite 10 Years After CDs is the Undead one.
Yes, a lot of people like that one, actually, yeah. It was very innovative at the time, and we just decided to go for it, and just play what we felt like.
It was like a blues jazz record almost.
That's right, yes, and there's lots of little bits that we did solo, keyboard on its own and bass on its own.
We approached the 38th anniversary of Woodstock, and the 10 Years After performance on that CD and movie really propelled that band to like another level, as you witnessed on your own. Talk about your memories of people and things going on that night.
I think we did a gig in St. Louis the night before, and we flew to New York and then drove upstate to Woodstock, but we couldn't get anywhere near the festival. It was mayhem. So they helicoptered us in, and we were just about to go on when the storm hit. I remember the storm. I don't remember much else. But
I was going to say, the challenge of just getting to the stage to plug in your keyboard must have been...
Yeah, it was... I suppose backstage it probably wasn't as much mayhem as it was out front, but they didn't fly us out by helicopter. We had to drive out, which took forever.
In the mud, the blood, the guts, and the beer, as they say, right?
Police escort smoking joints. Oh, shouldn't say that.
Well, how about your memories of people, and say even backstage, and just sort of like walking on stage and, plug it in your keyboard or something like that?
I remember, I think we've followed Country Joe, or he followed us, I can't remember, who we've met many times since, good friend of ours now.
Yeah.
So long ago, Jonathan, and it's different times now.
First of all, my dad took me to see that movie, and I guess it must have come out in, 60 or 1970, I guess, after
It came
everything.
out in 1970, yeah. The festival was 69, but it came out in 1970.
And I remember that, my mother sort of gave my dad a hard time about taking me to that, because it was the first time I'd ever seen naked women running around in any movie.
It was me as well.
Yeah, and so, I was really psyched because my dad took me and my friend. And, you look at that performance on film, and it just seems so electric. I don't know. I don't know what it was like on stage, but on film and on CD, it's just unbelievable.
It came over great, but we're still doing it. It's still electric because, we just enjoy playing. So we just start a number and just build it as we go along, as we feel it.
Hey, talk about who is in 10 years after these days. I know it's you and most of the original guys. 3
of the original, me, Leo, and Rick are still there. It's just a new guitarist, Joe Gooch, who is phenomenal. He's wonderful and so nice to work with.
And you have this new CD out called Now?
We have, but we've got another live one out since then called Roadwork. Fantastic.
Well, we're going to we gave away some copies already, so I know the listeners are psyched to hear that. So it's Chick Churchill, the excellent keyboardist from 10 Years After, again coming to B.B. King's this coming Wednesday night. Chick, thank you so much for calling into the show tonight.
Okay, Jonathan, fine. No problem.
Absolute pleasure, and safe travels, and we'll see you Wednesday night at B.B. King's.
Come and introduce yourself.